My net worth just hit 100K last month, which is absolutely insane. When I started this journey to financial freedom 5 years ago, my goal was just to get out of the red. It was to get to a $0 net worth. It took me until March of 2023 to hit that. And from there, I set my sights on 10K, which took me an additional 2 months. Kind of crazy how quickly I went from 0 to 10K, but then on to 100K took me almost 2 years, a little bit over 2 years. I just hit that at the end of July, like I just mentioned, and now my sights are set on 1 million. So I'm going to be sharing in this video exactly how I plan to go from 100,000 to $1 million. But why 1 million, you might be asking? For me, that represents the very start of financial freedom. It might be different for you. It might be 800,000, it might be 1.5 million, but for me, 1 million represents the start of financial freedom. It's not the point at which I'll be able to retire and go live the life of my dreams, but it's the point at which I could lose my job and not really worry about it. It's the point at which I could go spend more time with family, I could go travel, I could spend more time on a side hustle or a project that I'm passionate about, and I don't have to worry about making as much of an income as I'm going to be trying to make in these next 10 years, let's say. So exactly how do I plan to turn $100,000 into 1 million? Let's get into it. So if we look at this year, I'm 28 years old. I'm planning to make $100,000 this year, which I'm on track to do. I'm going to save 25% or $25,000. And then I'm assuming a 7% rate of return, which is the average that the stock market returns adjusted for inflation. And I take my net worth at the start of the year. So when I turned 28, my net worth was $71,000. That's what this number here is. And if I can save that 25,000 and get that 7% rate of return, I should have $103,000 in my net worth at the end of the year. Now, if you watched my last video, you know that my net worth is currently sitting around $101,000. So if things don't completely crash, if things keep going up and I keep investing as planned, I should hit a net worth of about $115,000 by the time I'm 29. So let's say hypothetically that happens. I would go in here on my 29th birthday or right around my 29th birthday because I'm probably doing other things on that day, but I would put in $115,000 and I'd press enter and watch as all the rest of the numbers update. So that way, every year I go in and I update this column to the exact number of my net worth on my birthday. That way I have a realistic view of when I will hit my goal. So I'm going to go ahead and set it back to 103,000 because who knows what's going to happen between now and the end of the year. Things could crash, things could go flat. Who knows? I'm going to leave it there until the end of the year and then I'll make another net worth update video. But for now, this is the plan. I should hit $1 million by the time I am 40. And so to keep this plan on track, next year I've got to make 110,000 and save 26%, the year after 120 and save 27%, and so on, each year increasing by $10,000 in income and 1% in savings rate. As far as where I'm investing right now, my assets are currently split between 6 different accounts: my Roth IRA, my 401k, my taxable brokerage, my savings account, and then my 2 crypto wallets. And my money is allocated about 48% to crypto right now. I'm trying to get that down. 21% to the S&P 500, 15% to my savings, 5% to US small caps, 4% to international funds, 2% to bonds, 2% to AI funds, 1% to emerging market funds, and 1% to a REIT. This is not my ideal portfolio allocation, so at the end of the year, I'm going to be switching things up a little bit. My goal is to have 50% in the S&P, 20% in crypto, 20% in my high yield savings account, and then 5% in AI index funds, and 5% in bonds or corporate treasuries. So at the end of the year, I'll be selling off all my other funds. I'll be putting that money into the S&P 500. In between now and the end of the year, I'm only going to be putting money into the S&P 500 and then filling out my bonds, corporate treasuries, and AI funds up to 5%, which will take me the next like 2-3 months to do. And then as far as crypto goes, I'm not selling, but I'm also not buying any more crypto until that's down to 20%. So all my money is going to be going into the S&P 500, into AI funds, into bonds, and corporate treasuries until my portfolio hits that goal allocation. So that's the plan. Of course, this isn't going to be easy because it hinges on me making $10,000 more each year, which is not a small amount of money. In my current role, I make $92,000 and I get about a 4 to 5% bonus, a 4 to 5% raise, and a 2% holiday bonus. So all of that included on top of my 401k match, which is currently sitting at 5%. I'll get that additional $10,000 a year just by staying at my current job. Problem is, and I hope my employer doesn't see this, I don't plan on staying at my job forever. Over the next couple years, 2, 3 years, I'm probably going to leave my job, whether that's for another job or to go all in on a side hustle. That's part of what this YouTube channel is about. I'm hoping that I can grow this. Currently, I'm sitting at close to 90% of the way to monetization. If things keep going how they are, in a month or two, I should get monetized and I'll start bringing in a tiny bit of money. It should be like 50 cents to $1 a day, but hopefully that can grow and turn into something that at the very least supplements my income, allows me to do work for a little bit less money that I'm more passionate about. Maybe at some point it actually replaces my income and allows me to go full time on YouTube, which is what I'm passionate about. That's why I'm making these videos. So basically my current job is just a really solid backup plan that's going to get me that additional 10K per year to hit my plan. But what I'm really working towards is a stream of income through YouTube that I can scale infinitely and build other businesses off of. That's what I'm working towards. That's my plan for how I'm going to hit that 10K each year. Now, there's two other things that I have to keep in mind. One is the market doesn't necessarily always return that 7% average. That's just an average. So some years it's going to go up 20%, other years it's going to go down 30%. If we go into a recession or a prolonged bear market, that could delay this entire plan by several years or even a decade. And there's really nothing that I can do about that. What I have control over is making more money each year, making $10,000 more each year, and saving an additional 1% of my income each year. That's what I have control over. That's what I'm going to be doing until I hit that $1 million net worth. So whether the market goes up or down doesn't really matter to me. It just extends the timeline of when I'm going to hit that $1 million. And the last thing that I have to keep in mind when it comes to this plan is that it doesn't factor in starting a family. I'm 28 years old now. I have a solid relationship. We're not necessarily rushing to get married and have kids, but that is something that's on our minds. It's something that we are thinking about. So at some point in the next 10 years, probably going to do some of those things, probably going to get married, probably going to start a family. And that's going to significantly change this plan, most likely. It will obviously depend on how much my partner is bringing in, how much income they are bringing in, how much they're investing and saving. It'll depend on where we're living, because we might not be in LA at that point. We might be living somewhere cheaper or more expensive. Probably not more expensive. It doesn't get much more expensive than LA. If I do end up having a family in this time frame, I will either have to hit that $1 million net worth before I have that family, or I'll have to make significantly more money so that I can keep on this plan and also provide the life for a family that I want to provide. So that's just something to keep in mind if you are in a similar position as me, where you're thinking about family in the next 10 years. You don't quite know what that's going to cost, what that's going to look like, but it's good to keep in mind that that is going to have a significant effect on your finances. If it's not something you're already thinking about, you should start thinking about it. So those are the three challenges that I'm thinking about in relation to this plan. Making an additional 10K per year is going to be tough, especially if I go the route of building my own businesses off of this YouTube channel. I also have no idea what the market's going to do. So it might go up, it might go down. I can't really factor that into my plan. So I have to be aware and ready for the fact that it might go down for the next couple years, or it might be great for the next 7 years and then have a horrible year and it completely derails my plan. That's okay. There's nothing I can do about that. And then I also have to keep in mind that I might be starting a family at some point. Those are the three things I'm thinking about. I think it's super important to have set goals and plans to reach those goals, but I also think it's really important to be aware of the outside factors and the challenges that are going to come with hitting that goal, because you might not hit it and it might not necessarily be your fault. It might not have been in your control to hit that goal at that deadline that you set. So instead of going into it blind, think about the different things that may come up that might derail your plan, so that when that happens, if that happens, you're not getting super discouraged. It's just life. There's only so much that you can plan for. That's a wrap for today's video, guys. If you got any value from this, please hit the like button, subscribe, helps this channel out a ton. And if you have any questions, comments, any feedback, drop those in the comments below. I love interacting with you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.